Welcome to my period stories. I'm Funke Treasure. WASH stands for Water, Sanitation and Hygiene. According to the World Health Organization, 39% of schools, and that's about 2 out of 5 schools, provide menstrual health education. The figures increase in secondary schools where we have less than 1 in 3 schools having bins for menstrual waste in girls' toilets. The numbers drop in sub-Saharan Africa to 1 in 10 schools. Millions of girls all over the world are unprepared for periods. In many countries, actually, adolescent schoolgirls don't have access to a clean toilet or clean private place to change while they're on their periods. That's what we're talking about today. Water, sanitation, and hygiene. The state of it in schools and communities. Welcome again. More after the break. You're watching My Period Stories with me. Joining us on the program today to talk about the state of WASH in schools and communities is a social and behavioral change communication specialist who has practiced journalism for 2 decades. She holds a doctorate degree in development communication from the University of Lagos, where she's also earned first and second degrees. Her primary research interest covers water, sanitation, and hygiene in urban slums. Now, I'm quite interested in that. Her school and community WASH initiative has intervened in menstrual hygiene issues for high school girls in Lagos. I'm going to leave it at that point, and it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Hope Orivri to My Period Stories today. Hello, Doctor.
Hi.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
It was a little difficult to pull you here because of your engagement here and there.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
It's fine. It's good.
Thank you so much. So you have your own initiative, and I'm going to start from there. Tell me how you started that and how is it now?
Well, it started off with the interest to see how young girls and women fare when it comes to menstrual hygiene management, when it comes to the issues that surrounds menstruation, something they do every month, something they have to do, not something they can push away, but something that comes naturally. And the initial times they were quite difficult getting people to speak, getting young girls to talk about menstruation. Wow, that sounded strange, even for women. No, they were like taboos. They weren't things that you talk about in public because culturally they were veiled. These were not things you discuss with just anybody. But gradually, and I'll say today, we have seen quite a lot of change. We've seen quite a lot. I think people, girls, women have become very much more comfortable to begin to talk. But then, even at that, there's still a lot of issues to be addressed, but the progress is fine. Slow, but fine.
I like that you said the progress is slow, but fine, which means it's a gradual thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go to, what do we even mean by WASH? People are watching is like WASH. What do they mean by that? By the way, people are saying, but what about the A in the WASH?
Okay. Water. WATER, water. So WA is water. Yes. Then you have S stands for sanitation, then hygiene, H stands for hygiene.
Okay. You did a complete doctoral degree on this issue. That's like 4 years talking wash every year.
5 years actually.
5 years
Yes.
actually. Tell me about it. Wash. Writing a doctoral research on that.
I will confidently say wash is like the core of life itself for everybody, be you male or female. We talk about water. You use water to do virtually everything for wellness, for good health. You drink water, you bath with your water, you clean your house using water, and then you importantly wash your hands using water and soap. And then you come again to talk about sanitation. For very many people, even up until now, they don't understand what that sanitation is all about. They just think, oh, the very first thing that comes to mind is environmental sanitation. We have environmental sanitation, but in this instance, we're talking about the toileting systems. What kinds of toilet do people use in whatever area at all? Importantly, it has to be the type of toilet that will veil you, protect people from direct contact with fecal matter. Because the bane of health challenges that we have in health, in fact, comes first even from poor sanitation systems. And then you talk about hygiene. The very core of it as well has to do with hand hygiene. Because wellness, or when people have issues with health, it's because of the things that people put into their mouth. What do you put into your mouth? CDC, UNICEF, WHO, and all the international bodies concerned with public health have carried out series of research studies, be they in Western countries, be they in Africa and Nigeria here, to say if people can wash their hands thoroughly with clean water and soap, they would have cut by 50, even 60% any kind of bacteria that will cause them disease burdens. So how well are we doing it? Very many times, people in this climb believe that we have a culture, or we've been living with a culture of this is how we do it and we've been surviving. And so, no, it's not true. It's not true. We've not been doing it right. We've not been doing it to help us maintain and enjoy good health.
But back in the days, let me cut in there. Back in the days, we had Wole. Those sanitation officers, I think they used to wear brown, and they used to move around. It was quite effective then.
It was.
I really wouldn't know why Nigeria decided to not go on with that system of sanitation.
Okay, I think that is very important to note. A number of things were left just like that, and it's because there is a gap, huge gap between policy and actions. Back in those days, I remember when I was growing up also in Lagos, Wole came into the house and you had some sense of responsibility to say, I don't want to be caught in this issue of not having my environment clean or having very poor sanitary system in my house. But it stopped. Gradually, everybody started doing what they wanted, what they liked.
And then we came back with environmental sanitation.
In fact,
to replace that. Yeah.
And today, that has also fallen apart. People do what they think. We've been doing it like this and we are fine. But it's not fine. I'm saying it is just not fine. If you talk about good health, if you talk about wellness, I repeat, it has its foundation right in wash. The water you drink must be from safe sources. And very importantly, even when you get your water, I think I would like to actually highlight this. In Nigeria, in Lagos, and like very many other urban centers in Nigeria, people may get safe water, or clean water rather, but they don't understand how to keep the water safe. Now, what is safe water? If you get clean water and you are going to store that water in a storage tank, how often do you wash that storage tank?
Right.
I would like to ask this question. People store their water in their overhead tanks, and I I must be very, very practical and real. They don't wash those tanks. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, people don't wash those tanks. And you have a residue of bacteria that would have built up. And then if both of us can take a walk down any of the roads here, in every 10 overhead tanks that you find, I am telling you because it's a study that I have carried out, at least 4 or 5 of them don't have lids over them. In fact, I saw in a place where they used polythene sheets to just tie the top of the tanks. And each time you see the thing pull over and cover again. So every dust, everything that you can think of goes into that water.
Right.
And people use the water to cook. Some of them even drink, and some of them even bath very young infants using that water. So the exposure rate, the risk of contaminated water that people drink, people use to cook, is quite high.
Okay, Dr. Orivri. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking about sustainable development goals.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, I think is SDG 7, is it?
6.
Or 11?
SDG 6.
6, that is specifically about
For water
sanitation.
and sanitation, yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we'll be talking about the SDG 6.
Yes.
And how it affects us in menstrual health right after the break. You're watching My Period Stories with me, and we've been talking about the states of WASH, that's water, sanitation and hygiene in schools and communities, not only in Nigeria. I mean, this is applicable to every other country where we're being watched at the moment. So let's come back to SDG, the Sustainable Development Goal 6, which is specifically about sanitation.
Okay, SDG 6, like I said, it's like, for me, it's like the cradle of life. There's nothing you do that you don't use water. But it's not enough.
We have 6 years to the end of, SDG, whether it works or not.
2030 agenda, they are going to do the assessments to see what countries have been able to do in each of those SDGs.
So what can we say? Has the world seen the outcomes, the desired outcomes, regarding SDG 6?
I must say we are very far from it. We are really, really, really far because in terms of awareness, very many communities have become aware. They have known, but how do they take the requisite actions when the infrastructure is not there? If you say to somebody, for example, in community high schools where you have girls do their periods monthly, they don't have what we call washrooms.
Do they have toilets? Do they have water in
so
many
they
public
don't
schools?
have washrooms. So you find out that even when they go to school, many times, in fact, about 55% of girls in high schools, they feel it's a very difficult period for them, a very difficult time for them during their monthly periods, because if they manage to even have their sanitary towels, where do they change? They don't have a place to change. And then even when they will change, if for those ones who are lucky to have maybe very small toilets, where will they wash up?
And where will they dispose?
And then where will they dispose of their sanitary towels? And then we also, I have seen from the series of works that I've done, I've also seen that there is need to carry the boys along.
Fabulous.
There is
I'm all
every
ears
need
now.
to carry the boys along, because I found out that in a number of schools where we had the boys sit in for sessions with the girls, it was like, this is an eye-opener for me. I never understood that this was just a natural thing that the girl goes through and that she needs support. And what we did was to help them build empathy, to say, this could be your sister, this could be your mom, this could be a friend, and it's the best of it for both the girl and yourself if you can support them. Don't mock them. Don't make them feel less human because it's their period. Don't make them feel like, oh, they've done something wrong for being on their period. I found out that in those areas, the girls became even more confident. They didn't feel less human. They didn't feel ashamed to even share their stories with the male. But in other places where they have not had that kind of opportunity to have sessions together with the boys and the girls, it is still very difficult, and it is still a large proportion. They can't talk. Many times you see them become absent in school because they don't know how to explain themselves. For a number of them, it is period poverty because they can't afford to get very good absorbent sanitary towels to keep themselves clean. If they mess themselves up, how would they cope?
I once spoke with someone on the audio version of this podcast, which we started with, and she said to me, she works as an NGO that prioritizes water.
Okay.
And so she said to me that there are girls in some communities who carry water on their heads to school.
Yeah.
When they're on their periods, you're coming from home you're going to school, you carry water on your head because you're on your period, and if you don't do that, you're going to be messed up, or you're just not going to enjoy being in school. And we're not talking of a kilometer. Sometimes they're walking about 3 kilometers to school.
Even some walk as far as 7 kilometers to school. Yes.
Certainly not in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Really?
In Nigeria. Yes, in Nigeria. In Nigeria.
So what do we do?
Well, the first step is to have us raise conversations as we are doing so that people can know. Then it's also to ensure that those who know, they don't just know, but they get engaged. Many times we probably blame people for not taking certain actions, but it is because they don't really know. It's not enough to tell them, but we have to go a step further to engage them so they can appreciate the enormity, the depth of what you are saying.
Right. One of the things that we have, written up in our own concept note as an organization in Sanitary Pad Media Campaign is to begin to look for corporate organizations that can adopt schools and build, water boreholes and toilets for the schools, because they're not. It's not a pretty sight if you Googled and searched for pictures or images of toilets in schools. It is horrible,
I think actually, I used to say to people that the much attention and interest that you have and the attention that you give to your kitchen where you make your food, that is just how much or even twice the effort that you need to put in to your toilets.
So how do we get Nigeria to wake up to the needs of our girls in schools regarding toilets and water?
That is advocacy.
What about our governments? I mean, we have, what's this primary school board? We have for secondary schools as well.
We just have to keep engaging them. Like I said, it's not enough to tell them, but get them on. If we have sessions where we're going to be speaking with the girls, where we're going to be speaking with the school community, I think at this stage, it becomes important to have at least 1 or 2 representatives be a part of those discussions, be a part of those engagements. Like that, I mean, they will gradually become more empathetic. They will understand better what this is all about. And that is when you see that people begin to take action. But if you just tell them, you keep telling them, it's nothing, it's what they've always heard. But if you make them be a part of it, gradually, we can begin to see the change that we desire.
All right. I mean, I have the utmost regard for you because you have this initiative of yours, and then you've gone ahead and done a doctorate, research work on this. And then the outstanding thing about you is also your research, the abstract of your work. Let me just read it out
Yeah.
because I'm quite excited right now. The high under 5 children mortality rates in Nigeria is partly linked to the use of unsafe water, sanitation, and poor hygiene practices. I think you won an award with that.
Yeah.
Did you?
I did.
Tell me about that.
Okay. The Maiden 3MT competition. 3MT stands for 3 minute thesis. You have to come and share with a panel. It's an exchange program with the university. I think 3 universities were involved. University of Dundee in the UK and the Aston University as well, also in the UK, and one other university in South Africa. So you come and talk about your work
in 3 minutes.
Yes, in 3 minutes.
I can't
and
do
so
it.
when you do that in 3 minutes,
Yeah.
then they engage you. In fact, when that happened at University of Lagos, something captivated the audience. In one of the sessions where I had with women in one of the slum communities, I took not just a photograph, but a video of a woman who was actually fetching wastewater.
Gosh.
Simply because that community lacks water. But she had to fetch the wastewater and then allow the water to settle for a while, sieve it, and use the water to bath for a 3-month-old baby.
Oh, my word.
Yes. So the moment I showed the photograph, the video, and somebody said, no, did you get this from the internet? I said, no, this is my video. This photograph is from the community study that I undertook, and this is what is happening. So after that 3 minutes, the audience had to engage me for like another 1 hour. In fact, they had to say, you know what, we just need to complete this program. After now, you can engage her. And in fact, after that session, it took hours. It didn't make sense to a number of those people who came from the universities from the UK. And they were like, are you saying? I said, yes, but this is real with us. This is real
How sad.
with us.
So then you won it hands down,
Yes.
as they say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's the prize? What was the prize?
Well, okay, an all expense paid trip to University of Dundee, and not just going there, but going there to engage with professors in that field, and not just professors in that field in the university, but also the those who are in WASH enterprise in the larger community. In fact, they were quite interested to know how it is working here, what is working, what is not working, but importantly, to look at how several factors, particularly cultural factors, are interacting with the things that are either standing as inhibiting or barriers to these people practicing safe wash.
Amazing. I see that you worked with children in Lagos slums. Which
Yeah.
of the slums did you visit?
Okay, actually, I worked with 3 communities. One is called Abete in Ijora, under Apapaigomu LCDA. Then another one is called Agoegu. Also, not in Apapa, it's in Shomolu local government area. Then the third one is Maracana in Ajegunle.
I would have been surprised if you didn't get to Ajegunle because it's such a large slum.
It is, but
it's quite
and
large.
what my study actually did was to get a cluster of slum communities along the coastal areas.
Right.
Because I wanted to see what people in the coastal areas were doing in those slum communities. And indeed, the study showed that they had similar characteristics in terms of wash practices.
Right. I
Yeah.
wish we could go on and on because I'm really fascinated by your work. And
Thank you.
to be honest, I look forward to collaboration with you,
My pleasure.
with the schools. I
Yeah.
mean, they say collaboration is gold.
It is. It is.
Right. This is the terminal point on the podcast today. But before we go, a quick gift for our guests.
Wow.
Um, we just want to honor you. You've done a very significant
Thank you.
work
Thank
that
you.
will move the communities
Yeah.
forward and contribute to policy making in Nigeria. So we just want to honor you with this. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you
And
too.
well, don't be too sure. We want to ask you to come back.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is for you. Ben, thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. I love this.
Thank you too. I'm glad you love it. I'm glad you love it. And that's it. The state of WASH. That's water, sanitation, and hygiene in schools and communities. Do you want Dr. Hope Orivri to come back on the podcast? Let us know so that we invite her to come back and tell us more about her work regarding menstrual hygiene and WASH, of course, in schools and communities. Until next week when we'll be back, I'm Funke Treasure, your host. Bye-bye now.